very, very exciting news, guys. A whole step forward in my fishing armoury. Available online as well, so you guys can get hold of these things. This is going to revolutionise everything. I mean, honestly, blow your mind. We've stepped forward. Check this out. Seamless, right? That was... Winter is behind us, back in the box. Summer is here. Yes. Yep. The infamous pink beanies, which ironically I have back in stock now if anybody wants one, are going to be replaced with the summer pink baseball caps. Also available in the store. Guaranteed to make you look almost as good looking as me. I say almost because, let's be honest, that's probably nigh on impossible. And guaranteed to make all your fish 10 times larger than the previous ones you caught. Obviously all these guarantees are absolute fallacy, so please ignore them. Don't hold me up to them in court. Yeah, anyway, back to some sensible chat. I am down Southbourne. It is Friday 7th of, no, not March, April, Friday 7th of April. First time I've been out freelancing since my Soul Place flounder session. I'm about 4 bays down from that, so the bistro is literally 1, 2, 3 bays just there, or where the bistro used to be. It's now a building site. We'll have to come up with a new name for it, won't we? It's no longer the bistro section of Southbourne, it's the building site section of Southbourne. So I've just come out tonight because it's a really lovely day. So we had a good blow the last 2 days, some strong westerly, mostly westerlies, a little touch of south in it. It's given the sea a good stir up. Friday's come, boof, northerly winds. Hopefully you can see it in the background there, lush. Tinge of colour in it. For Southbourne, this is a tinge of colour. I was having a good laugh with my friend Mark Hercombe last week. Our coloured is his clear, he's from Kent. He'd be looking at this going, oh, it's gin clear, and I'd be looking again, oh, it's dirty. It's amazing how different parts of the country vary so much, but for us, this is coloured. Mark will be fishing for garfish, probably. Actually, yeah, so since the flatty session, I did fish a 2-day match. It was the SAMF versus Combined Armed Forces versus Police match, which was brilliant. It would have been brilliant if I wasn't rubbish. Sadly, I was rubbish. I got absolutely hammered on my local beach down here on the Friday evening. I really don't know what went wrong. No excuses for it. Terrible performance. I was next to a guy called Scott Booty, who's a lovely, lovely guy. I've known him for years anyway, from the army. He's a very, very good angler, but he absolutely spanked me. I was a touch grumpy. Scott will vouch for this. There's losing gracefully and losing disgracefully, and I managed to add in the disgraceful part to the losing part. I'd like to say I redeemed myself on the second day at Chesil, came second in my zone, but I didn't fish very well either, and I came second in my zone with 1 fish. So there we go. But there we go. We won as a team, Southbourne, so that was great. So the overall result was fantastic. I'm clinging to that. Personal performance, not very good. But anyway, just come down for a bit of a play. I've got my mate Gavin over there from Southampton, from Shirley Cub. I've got Liam with us, the infamous cod king of Southbourne. And I think I've got young Tom Waternaby. I've got to stop calling him young. I've called him young Tom Waternaby for years now. He's no longer young. Well, younger than me, so, but then everyone is. Really am waffling, aren't I? I've just come down. I've got no worm left in the shop. So we sold out today. Really busy day because of the weather. So I've just come down with fish baits and crab. He says, looking at the completely empty bait table. So I'm just going to have a go for bass and rays. Apparently Gavin just said the guys in the bay next to us had a nice little turbot just now, so that was a nice little bonus. It'd be nice to bump into one of those. Other than that, it's just a relaxed evening down the beach. Last time I said I'm just going to come out and fish for fish and have a nice evening, I caught a PV thorny and a big bass, and he caught a codling, so I'm going to do the same today. No pressure, just a fishing session. See what comes along. So tactics, as always, exceptionally simple. On my distance rod is a Bagnall bar, which I shall alternate between crab bait and squid and sprat. Hoping to find, like I say, ray or bass or something. And on the inside rod, I will alternate between a flapper, 2 at 1 down, 3-foot flapper, with sort of slightly smaller fish baits on. don't really know why I do slightly smaller fish baits. I'm still fishing for rays. But I feel like as I'm coming closer, I've got to use smaller baits. That makes no sense, does it? There we go. And I'm also going to use, with a little bit of crab, just a little lump of crab, just a single hook earth. So again, the beauty of these earth things is how wonderfully simple they are, and it's a great idea if you just want to sort of fish for bass close in. This is what I do whenever I'm up inside the harbours and the backwaters and the creeks, things like that, just fishing for bass, or giltheads even when they're in. So I've got here my simple earth bar with a bit of seaweed attached to it, and off of that I've got 6 foot, which is very short for an earth, but because it's a single, I'm not overly worried about it. 6 foot of 0.40, that is, tied to a 2.0 circle hook. So that's so easy, look. Anybody can use that. Earth, 6 foot of line, hook. I'm just going to use half a crab, because, good English Tom, because I'm not casting very far. In fact, hardly casting at all. I'm literally going to flop it. I'm not going to bother whipping on the crab. I'm just going to thread it in. So I'm going to sort of go in through the leg socket, turn it around, just literally fish it like that. Ever so simple stuff. And that is that. I'm going to clip that up. I've got a bite. How exciting. Bite on my distance rod on the crab. It was quite an enthusiastic bite, so I'm going to presume bass. It wasn't that sort of slow, steady pull down that you might find with a ray. And it's not especially heavy. I'm going to ask my budding cameraman, Mr. Graham, behind me to just follow me down. A beautiful sky over there, straight ahead. A little bit of sunshine picking up the cloud. It's also very showery today, so we're going to be ducking in and out of the beach valley, I think. Make sure you get my pretty side, please, Liam. Liam? I just called you Liam. Ah, well, it's just up on the surface, so maybe it is a ray. Although, nah, it's got to be a bass, surely. Being all energetic. Wait for that wave to come and then surf it in. Completely missed that. Surf it in that time. Ah, it's only a babby. Really? Look at a little babby. Didn't I make a meal of that? That was a really scruffy fish. How funny. Oh well. I'll edit that. What I'll do is I'll splice in an enormous fish as I pick it up out of the surf. Oh well. First cast. There we go. First cast. One Baba ray on the half a little peeler crab. I'd like to say it's a lot bigger than you're seeing because obviously it's folded up, but it's not much bigger. Whilst we're down at the water's edge, and I'm still not too embarrassed about my enormous ray I made a meal out of, just to show you what I mean by a gentle little cast. This is just that little 6 foot earth. I'm just literally going to sideways flick it. Splot. 20 yards maybe, hopefully you saw that. But it just sort of drops off into that little gully here, so I figured, just watching Liam's put one out a little bit further, I figured if there is going to be a bass mooching around in close, hopefully it'll be in that gully. See if I can get as lucky with that first cast as I did with my other first cast. A nice little start to the session, wasn't it? Right, both rods in the water now, both fishing. One out at range, one in close, really close, you saw me cast that. Both got crab baits on. I'm just getting my second bar rig ready. Gone for my trusty sprat and squid wrap there. So again, I've cut that sprat lengthways, strapped a bit of squid to the side using the bait tool. Real neat and tidy. Again, that is a good ray bait size. You do not need is the important word here, enormous baits and enormous hooks for rays. I quite often get people coming saying, well, yeah, but I fished down Southbourne and I used whole mackerel and stuff and I caught a ray. Yeah, you will. You'll catch rays. I'm not saying you're not going to. The reason why I use smaller baits is, A, it's much cheaper. You know, why use £3 a bait every cast when you can use 50p a bait every cast? Although as a tackle dealer, I should probably tell you I'm a random 4 whole mackerel, 6 peeler crab stratus, don't I? And the other reason is actually the percentage of bites to fish on the beach ratio. The bigger the bait, obviously, bigger the bait, bigger the hooks, that sort of thing, the higher the chance you got of dropping a fish. I like to try and convert every bite into a fish on the beach. That's the reason why I don't go huge on the bait. That's the 2 reasons I don't go huge on the bait. Right, just about to recast the close range rod, so the one I put that earth out with a little bit of crab in close for a bass. No bass has come along yet, so I'm going to stick a little 2-hook rig out, squid and sprat on the bottom, a little bit of peeler crab on the top, slightly smaller baits, only size 1. What am I on here? Camazan B950Us for your hook geek class there. I'm going to put this one a little bit further. We are fishing down to low tide. So I'm just going to monitor what the water's doing over the top of the bar. If I think it's too shallow in close, I'll put both rods just over the top of the bar, which being low tide shouldn't be too far out here. A simple sort of overhead lob should get you over the bar at low tide. But if I think there's enough water, because it is a small neap, if I think there's enough water still on the inside gully and over the top of the bar, then I'll keep fishing the bar. No, keep fishing the gully on the inside. And the other rod I'll just keep whacking outside. I keep wanting to say it's bigger than the last one, but I made such a fool out of myself on that last fish. I'm keeping quiet. It's not a particularly big fish, but... It's on my sprat and squid. Favourite cocktail. A little bubber again. They're really scrappy today. There you go, sprat and squid on the top circle hook again. Not exactly a big fish, but a very welcome one. Second little small eye of the night. For some reason they're fighting really hard tonight. Again, I thought that was a better sized fish, I really did. And again, at range, it gave a great bite. Whereas, you know, quite often just like slow little things, but there we go. Let's get it straight back. Things have taken a slight turn for the worse, sadly. I had a whiting a couple of casts ago, and now we're into double shots of whiting on panel rigs. That's always great, isn't it? Nice little bite on the inside rod just then. Pulled right down. Here we go, is it? I better bring that in. It's a dog. So my fish guessing tonight has been terrible. Completely misjudged the size of the 2 rays I caught. And I called this one away and it's a dog. Hey ho, never mind. It's another fish. Beats the monotony of the annoying pin whiting. I think I need to score on that. There we go. One woofer. Even he's lively. Everything's been lively tonight. Little tip actually. If you're new to dogs, really rough skin, I think I said before, didn't I? If you grab the tail with that part of your hand and hold the rest of the dog like that, that'll stop it wrapping its tail and body around you and scratching you, removing all your skin. So, little tip. Grab hold of the tail, grab hold of the dog. That's something a little energetic. I'm going to get another dog. We've been out there 5 minutes after that last one. Let's bring it in. What do you reckon, Liam? I called the last one a ray and it came in as a dog.
It's going to be a ray then.
So I'm going to call this one what's really unusual? A scorpion fish? Triggerfish, yes. I'd get a little bit excited if it was. Much better ray. Ta-da! A half decent one at last. I didn't want to say it felt like a bigger one because the last time I said that it came in quite clearly not a big one. Ooh, it just bit my thumb. What was that Sprat and squid. Again. Good old sprat and squid. Everything tonight, for some reason, has been really scrappy. Those last couple of small rays were really scrappy. This one went like the clappers, and it's not a big fish by any stretch of the imagination. Even the dog went mad. There we go. It's going to do its wing folding thing. Hate it when they do that. Somewhere in that lot is a ray. Irritating things. You're going to unfold. Stop biting me. No, it's not going to unfold. You have to take my word for it. There's a ray in there somewhere. Grab my word, mate. Is it going to unfold? No, it's not going to unfold. Oh well, let's get it back. Well, it got a little bit chilly tonight. We're really lucky actually because we managed to miss most of the rain. It rained for about 10 minutes halfway through and then that moved off. Sky cleared up, temperature dropped, back came the winter hat. So there we go, I've had best of both hats tonight. They've both been lucky as well. I've had 3 rays, not big but still 3 rays, isn't it? And a couple of doggies, just last cast doggy there. Another woofer, so a couple of woofers and a handful of small whiting. Oh no, yeah, quite a nice little session in nice conditions. It's definitely worth keeping an eye open for the forecast. As soon as that wind goes round to the north and flattens the sea off a bit, it's really worth getting out and having a little fish. We had a couple of fish just on the last bit of ebb, went a little bit quiet just on low, and then we've had a bit of a run of fish on the first bit of the flood there as well, so it's been quite good. Hey, Gavin just found a ray. Lovely little small-eyed.
Yeah.
Very nice too. What was that on?
I think sprat and squid, isn't it?
Sprat and squid, yeah, most of mine. I've had one on the crab, everything else came on the sprat and squid tonight. So we're loving the sprat and squid. On a barlet, on a bagel bar. Well done, matey. It's a nice fish. Fish on from Liam. What we got, mate? Woofer!
Woofer, another line.
It's a woofer and... Is that your other line, is it? Oh no. A woofer and somebody's crack-off rig. Probably felt like a ray, didn't it, because of that?
It did a little bit.
Shame. Oh well, there we go, woofer. Yeah, there we go. So we've got a woofer and a... and a free lead. Everyone's a winner. Well done, mate. Catch one with wings next time. Well, that's been a good little session in the end. Can't complain about that. We've had, what have we had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rays between us, handful of dogs, and a handful of small whiting. In lovely conditions. Nice night. So I had a couple of rays early on, just on the last little bit of the ebb, and then we had a sort of a run just on the first bit of the flood, really, and it's been quite good. Got a feeling if we stayed much later, we'll probably catch a fair few more fish, but it's pretty late now, so I'm going to go home, bed. It's been a long week. Early start tomorrow. Very enjoyable. I think everyone's doing the same. I think everyone's packing up now. It's been good, yeah. Nearly all the fish. I think I had the first ray on crab. I think majority of everything else, I know Gavin's ray, Liam's dog, my other rays and my dogs, they've all come to the sprat and squid tonight, so that's worked very well tonight. If you haven't used a sprat and squid before, if you haven't seen me using sprat and squid before, check out my ray fishing on Southbourne video, I think. I'll put a little link to it somewhere. Check out that one. That shows you how I prep it, how I bait it up and stuff. Simple step-by-step instructions, very easy, and a cheap bait as well. So yeah, don't ignore the sprat when you come down Southbourne. But yeah, there we go. So yeah, a few rays, a few dogs, few whiting. Lovely evening. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Glad I came out. Hopefully next week the weather actually behaves. I know 2 weeks ago I said, oh, the weather looks really good next week, I'm going to go out mulleting, and it turned out that was wrong. The weather turned rubbish. It was wet and windy and pants. At the moment the weather next week looks really nice, so hope and pray for some nice weather. Still staring at his watch, expecting it to hoping, live on camera. Look. There we go. Yeah, no, you're not going to believe that, are you? Right, anyway, enough of those shenanigans. I'm going to reel in, pack up, go home. See you next time, guys.